This is 27 Eyewitness News with Paul Pittis, Patty Lowe, meteorologist Brian Albrecht, and sports with Jay Wilson.
Good evening, everyone. State prison guards today earned an important ally in their push for mandatory AIDS testing for inmates.
Governor Tommy Thompson today announced that if given the opportunity, he will sign legislation requiring the test.
As Bruce Neeb reports, the question is whether the bill will ever reach his desk.
The issue's been building for months within the walls of the state's prisons. Prison staff members say inmates have begun using the threat of AIDS as a weapon. In April, a guard at the corrections wing of UW Hospital was bitten by an inmate who claimed to have AIDS. Just last weekend, another guard at the state prison in Green Bay was bitten and scratched. Today, citing concerns expressed by corrections employees, Governor Thompson said the state should have the right to know which inmates actually carry the AIDS virus.
I see nothing wrong with having prisoners that are incarcerated that have broken the law being tested for AIDS or other communicable diseases.
Late this afternoon, State Senator Barbara Lorman introduced legislation that would, for the first time ever, give corrections officials the right to test inmates for AIDS.
We intend to retain all the protections in current law regarding disclosure of the results of testing. Test results will be available only to the institution administrator and or the administrator's designee who would have the authority to implement measures for the safety of the institution.
Lorman says with the reaction she's received from the state employees union and other legislators, she feels the bill could gain approval by July 1st. But Governor Thompson himself today admitted he's doubtful mandatory testing measures can make it through the legislature in this session. For now, he says he's pinning his hopes on an as-yet unannounced Department of Health and Social Services plan to strengthen the state's voluntary testing program. Details of that plan, he says, will be released either tomorrow or Friday. Bruce Neeb, 27 Eyewitness News at the state capitol.
Donna Shalala, the teacher and student, visits Madison for the first time in her official capacity today. The new chancellor says firsts are a situation she's comfortable with. Laura McMurtry reports.
It's fun.
She admits she has a lot of lessons to learn here. How to handle the media is not one of them. A calm Donna Shalala gave an honest, I don't know, to several questions about UW policy. On minority recruitment, she's more specific.
The issue of both minority students being comfortable in an institution has a great deal to do with the institution's behavior. I've had some experience in that area. And what's important to me as a leader of the entire university is that everybody is comfortable there.
An athlete herself, Shalala plans to be a devoted Badger cheerleader.
I think that they're an integral part of the education of young people, and I look forward to meeting with the leaders of the athletic program as well as the other athletic leaders of the university.
She got part of that wish and pledged to keep up the already existing tennis rivalry with President Kenneth Shaw.
I'm pleased to tell you that with one arm tied behind her back, she was only able to beat me 2 out of 4 sets.
Acting Chancellor Bernard Cohen.
And I think that if you want somebody to come in and to exercise some initiatives, to do new things, then what you have to do is say, okay, you set the agenda, we'll help you.
Shalala is known for a policy of openness with the faculty and students at Hunter College. However, she says she wouldn't be here if the UW's chancellor selection process had been a more open one. So after a summer stint in Japan, Donna Shalala continues what she says she likes best, the learning process here in Madison. Laura McMurtry, 27 Eyewitness News.
An emergency landing at the Dane County Airport this morning. An American Eagle flight carrying 32 passengers was forced to land in Madison about 9 a.m. A warning light reportedly went on in the cockpit, which indicates smoke or a fire. The plane was on its way to Chicago from Wausau when the emergency occurred.
Landing, and then she said to get all your glasses off and anything that's loose. And we heard and saw that her hailed the plane make a big bank, and first thing you know, we're landed.
Were you frightened at any time?
Not really.
A spokesperson for American Eagle says there never was a fire, that the warning light apparently malfunctioned. The passengers were delayed about 45 minutes until a new plane became available. Stepped-up truck inspections on our interstates are creating some doubt over highway safety tonight.
Tony Galley reports on the numerous violations uncovered through the inspections and the potentially greater number going unnoticed.
They line up 6, 7, 8 deep at times, creating the perfect diversion for interstate motorists needing something to occupy restless children, creating a formidable enforcement challenge for a handful of state patrolmen. Normally, these rigs are simply weighed and waved on. This roadside station is usually closed more often than not, but for several days it's open round the clock for a special safety crackdown. What appeared from the interstate to be a simple weigh-in has waylaid many drivers at this involuntary truck stop. And in order to meet truck safety regulations, a number of drivers are going to have to spend a considerable amount of time here. State Patrolman John Carpenter has idled a number of trucks for a variety of mechanical problems.
I think we're getting a small percentage of them here. I think there's a lot more of them going around us or ones that we just don't see.
It was news to Minnesota trucker Pete Stevenson when inspectors spotted a crack in the frame of his rig's trailer.
We just never think of looking at something like that.
It is almost common knowledge truckers look for ways to cut travel time. Alabama trucker Gary Hollister's driving log showed he was way overdue for sleep.
I came from Fort Worth, Texas. I started out at Monday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Straight?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you hadn't been pulled over here at this truck stop, how much farther do you think you would have driven before you would have taken a break?
I probably tried to go all the way to Marshfield, yeah.
Hollister was caught before taking on 1,100 miles straight and won't have the authority to drive again until Saturday. But state patrolmen say without more manpower, they won't have the ability to nab many unsafe trucks. Tony Galley, 27 Eyewitness News.
A plan to raise the speed limit to 65 is under the governor's scrutiny. At this point, Tommy Thompson says he's almost, but not quite certain he'll sign the legislation. He says he has some reservations because the measure doesn't require seatbelt use. The doors are opening in Madison Rotary. The downtown chapter today voted overwhelmingly to amend its bylaws and accept women into the club. The measure was approved by a 90% majority. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled several weeks ago that women must be allowed to join the organization. The Madison chapter was one of the first in the country to endorse that policy. Still to come, Brian says we're looking cool and crisp tonight.
In sports, 4 new members in the Madison Hall of Fame.
But first, our Republican governor gets a dare from the Democrats. More on that when we come back. The war of words continues to escalate tonight over the governor's tax plan.
Democrats are daring Tommy Thompson to veto what they described as the largest tax cut ever in Wisconsin. Kim Simpson has more on the story.
Between now and the end of June, lawmakers will focus their attention on taxing and spending. For now, taxing is taking center stage as the controversy heats up over a plan forwarded by Democratic leaders. The governor calls it a mistake because it eliminates the exclusion for capital gains, it reduces the top income tax rate, and it increases income tax credits for renters, homeowners, and farmers.
It was a shell game. They thought they could get away with it, and I don't know how they ever expected to. It's absolutely a property tax increase.
Our tax plan provides over $300 million in an income tax reduction. It will benefit almost 1.5 million taxpayers in the state, almost everybody who pays taxes. The governor's tax plan would provide a capital gains tax break for about 200,000 people. His idea is to give those people a break as opposed to give everybody who works a break.
Senator Gary George says the governor is misstating to confuse the public. George is among the Democrats who want to push the plan through the legislature without a compromise with the governor. Thompson, meanwhile, insists he'll veto a plan that excludes capital gains.
I don't know if you can point to one business or an individual that expanded or stayed in Wisconsin because of capital gains. But I can tell you that capital gains is a very important tool for me as the governor of the state of Wisconsin to sell economic development.
With a month of deliberations left, chances are good the plan will take many shapes and forms before all is said and done. Kim Simpson, 27 Eyewitness News.
A Dane County judge faces misconduct charges tonight. The state Supreme Court will investigate a complaint filed against Circuit Judge Jack Aulick. Aulick is accused of taking sides in a case last August. He allegedly held discussions and shared documents with attorneys on one side of the case, but not the other. The complaint was filed by the Wisconsin Judicial Commission. Judge Aulick today ruled a former Madison police officer is entitled to more than $93,000 in back pay. Stephen Filno was fired in 1982 for allegedly not living within the city limits. Earlier this year, the State Court of Appeals ruled Filno should be reinstated and receive back pay. Filno was asking for $194,000. He is expected to be reinstated with the Madison Police Department in December. A jury is deliberating the fate of Madison attorney Donald Eisenberg. Eisenberg faces 3 counts of criminal tax and conspiracy. He's accused of helping a client launder $124,000 of illegal drug money. If convicted, Eisenberg faces a maximum 13 years in prison and more than $200,000 in fines.
Well, this was a definite 10 on the scale today.
Well, some fishermen
Beautiful
might
day.
disagree. A little bit windy on the lakes, but the winds will die down in the evening. Good. Good evening, everyone. Very nice today. Sums it all up. A little bit breezy, but a lot of sunshine. Some puffy afternoon cumulus clouds came our way, and the temperatures a little bit below normal, but really not too bad. That's more or less the way things are going to be continuing. Today we had sunshine, we had the winds, and we had 73 degrees for the high this afternoon. 56 this morning's low, so indeed that high is just 3 degrees below the normal, with no precipitation for a change recorded today. The sun setting this evening at 8:31. Currently mostly sunny, 69, with a northwest wind at 15. Humidity 44%, that's down there nicely, and the barometer is inching slowly higher. The Weather Watcher readings today were all very nice, all in the 70s. 70 even from Black Earth today to as high as 82. A little bit of hot air from Bob McKee's house in Stoughton today. 77 in Sun Prairie, 75 degrees in Cottage Grove. Throughout the rest of the viewing area, 70 from Bob Schultz in Montello, also Sue Diamond in Monroe. 78 from Matt DePledge in Wales. 72 in Boston, Reedsburg, and also at Richland Center today. A quick check of the radar shows no precipitation anywhere to be found across Wisconsin, northern Illinois, or Iowa, so it's going to be a very nice evening. No problems from the weather, hardly a cloud in the sky, and the clouds that are out there are likely to be dying away. The upper air winds hold the key to what's going to be going on the next few days, coming in from a northwesterly direction. Now, these upper air winds are going to be steering the weather systems at the Earth's surface, and so when they come down from Canada, they certainly aren't going to bring us too much in the way of moisture, so we'll expect those northwest upper air wind flows to bring us some cool and dry air. Very cool at night. Temperatures probably getting into the 40s for lows the next few nights, and inching up towards 70 degrees in the afternoon. The real hot, steamy weather in the south and eastern part of the country, 90s will be pretty widespread. Temperature-wise right now, the cooler air is really showing up. Just 58 degrees at Wausau, 56 at both Marquette and Houghton in the UP, 59 degrees at Duluth, 66 at Minneapolis-St. Paul, 70s down to the southeast of a 75 in Milwaukee, 77 the warm spot, that being picked up at the city of Chicago at the present time. We do have those northwest winds blowing in at 15 to 20 miles per hour. Now, they will be diminishing quickly this evening to about 5 to 10 miles per hour for most of the nighttime hours, so winds really not much of a factor after the next hour or so. With the winds dying down and clear skies, it's going to be a chilly night tonight. Temperatures in the northern parts of the state will drop down into the 30s, maybe even some localized frost up near the UP and in the upper peninsula of Michigan. We'll have 40s across the rest of the Badger State. The hot, humid weather, the real sticky conditions down over most of the southeast in the 70s, also in the 70s in parts of the desert southwest. Now getting on toward tomorrow, looks like another very nice day with lots of sunshine. We'll be watching a little weather system up to the north of us bring down another cool front that could touch off some showers along the UP and Wisconsin border late in the day, but we'll have mostly sunny skies, wind out of the west, not as strong as today, so things are looking very, very nice. Pleasant weather again on Friday. That little cool front will be dissipating, moving through the coolest air, passing by to the northeast of us. We'll have again sunshine, high temperatures up toward the lower 70s both tomorrow and on Friday. For tonight, clear and cool, low 44, northwest winds 5 to 10. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and pleasant with a high near 70, west wind 7 to 15. And then another very nice day, continued sunny and pleasant on Friday with the high temperature at 71. And looking on further into the weekend, things look nice and a little bit warmer at that time.
Hooray!
Yay, good.
Coming up in sports, the Madison Sports Hall of Fame welcomes 4 new members.
And how about those Brewers?
How about them?
The winning continues this afternoon. Jay Wilson has details next. Brewers could have 9 in a row by Sunday.
Boy,
or is that too optimistic?
Well, I don't know. It's going to be a heck of a series when the Yankees come to town, though.
It's nice to have 5 wins under your belt going into that series.
It's nice to have 2 wins under your belt the way the Brewers have been going. But yeah, 5 in a row is really something. The Brewers just keep rolling along this afternoon at County Stadium. The
Winning streak goes to 5 games after completing a sweep of the Kansas City Royals. The final, Brewers 4-2. Len Barker picks up his first win in a long time. Dan Plesac his 13th save. As we said, tomorrow the Yankees come to town to start a 4-game series. One other American League final, Toronto beats Seattle today 7-2. Beautiful day for baseball at Wrigley Field, and the Cubs continue their offensive explosion. They score 9 runs in the first inning against Houston. Brian Dayette's grand slam homer sets the tone for the day. Cubs now only a game and a half out of first for the National League East. Final score at Wrigley Field, not going to believe this one, 22-7. The Cubs beat Houston today. San Francisco a 4-1 winner over Philadelphia. Janesville, Craig, and Milton are playing for a berth in the WIAA State Boys Baseball Tournament right now at Riverside Park in Janesville. In the 6th inning, Craig is leading 1-0. We'll have highlights of that game tonight at 10. Well, 4 new members will be enshrined into the Madison Sports Hall of Fame tonight at the Holiday Inn Southeast. Fred Jacoby, Jackie Molinaro-Hayes, Augie Vandermeulen, and Gene Calhoun will be honored this evening. And joining us live is one of the inductees, Gene Calhoun. Thanks for joining us, Gene, and congratulations on tonight's award.
Thank you.
What's your reaction to the honor?
Well, I'm very, very pleased. In fact, you know, all the times you walked in the football field and were scared, why, it's kind of the same kind of a feeling to, but this is particularly pleasurable to me because it's my home, it's my community, it's my people, and I appreciate it very, very much.
Of course, you're probably known as one of the country's top football referees, the only man to referee the Cotton Sugar and Orange Bowl, and those are certainly big games. Is there a lot more pressure for an official in doing those kinds of games like the players?
Well, I think you have to get up for them, and obviously you're playing with some pretty good football teams, or they wouldn't be there. So the adrenaline flows, and of course you have the media coverage and all those things, so you hate to disgrace. I always thought, you know, I hated that I'd come home and ask my son and daughter or my wife, did I disgrace the family or did I disgrace Madison? And if I didn't, why, I felt I had a good afternoon. But you get up for them like anything else, and I enjoyed it. Once the game starts, you're fighting for your life, so you don't have much time to think about it.
Of course, you're now a Big Ten football official. You're supervisor of Big Ten football officials, I should say, an attorney in Madison. You certainly aren't slowing down at all, huh?
No, it seems to go. Actually, people would think this is the off season, but I have to be in Boston Sunday. We have a convention out there of all the supervisors next week, and we'll go over all the new rules and all the new interpretations and everything. It's kind of there's something going on every month of the year. It really is.
Okay, Gene. Well, again, thanks very much for joining us tonight, and congratulations.
It's my pleasure, and we're glad to have you back in town, Jay.
Well, thank you, Gene. That's Gene Calhoun, the Madison Hall of Fame member. I like that guy. Now let's go to basketball. An 8-day layoff didn't hurt the Los Angeles Lakers at all, did it? The Lakers won Game 1 of the NBA Final Series, beating Boston 126-113 last night. Here's the Celtics being flat, the Lakers flying high. The Koopa Loop, Magic Johnson to Michael Cooper. The Celtics were not impressive.
I really think I know one thing. Come Thursday or so, we're going to come out and play the devil a lot better than what we did or so. If we don't, we're just going to get blown off the court again.
The Bucks might have given them a better shot last night.
Boy, the Celtics looked real sluggish, didn't they?
They're
all bandaged up and hobbling down the floor.
Did you have to pay Gene Calhoun to say that?
So are you. Coming up
I'll come down the block.
He's getting incredible goals and giving us all a lesson on life. That story when we come back. Finally, you may be disabled and not know it. A disability goes beyond our physical condition. It's an attitude of, I can't, rather than, I'll try. Patty Nystuen met a man today who refuses to let a disability be his crutch.
So I just started doing a lot of road racing, and I got my time down to 9 minutes and 29 seconds per mile, and it was just a good feeling of accomplishment instead of just feeling negative.
Outrunning negatives. Now, that's Jerry Traylor's philosophy. Disabled from birth with cerebral palsy, Jerry refuses to sit back. In fact, he embraces life at a full run, and running is what he does. Jerry ran across the United States. He ran to the top of Pikes Peak, and just about any weekend, you'll find him running in a marathon. Each a goal he has set, not only for himself, but for those who watch him.
Be able to try to make a difference and to try to be a role model. So many people look at me and they say, you're such a hero. I'm not a hero. I'm just a role model.
When Jerry isn't running, he's talking. In Madison this week, Jerry's scheduled for several speeches, and his message goes beyond inspiration for the physically disabled.
See, so many people choose the negative crutches that pull themselves down. They'll smoke cigarettes or use drugs or whatever. And basically, I was handicapped from birth. Therefore, I'm going to choose the positive things. I don't know why anyone would choose to handicap themselves in a negative way.
Patty Nicetune, 27 Eyewitness News.
Nice story. Forecast for tonight.
Nice evening. Maybe a little cool. Temperatures dropping to the 50s, but sunny.
At 10, the Madison Board of Education tries to wrap up budget deliberations. We'll have word on what it means to your tax bill. Join us for that story and more at 10. Good night.
Good night.